Our first speaker will be Jeff Cool. Jeff entered the ranks of the FDNY in 1992 and was assigned to Ladder 19 in the South Bronx. He remained at Ladder 19 until 2001, when he was transferred to Rescue 3. In January of 2006, Jeff sustained serious injuries while operating on a working fire at East 178th Street in the Bronx, when he and 5 other members of the FDNY were forced to jump from the top floor of a 5-story multiple dwelling unit. The same fire claimed the lives of Lieutenant Kurt Mayron, John Bellew of Ladder 27. Jeff's catastrophic injuries ended his career, but he has remained extremely active in the fire service, as he frequently lectures on the value of training and personal safety ropes for firefighters. He was the 2004 Firehouse Magazine Heroism Award recipient and cited for valor on several occasions throughout his FDNY career. Jeff has also dedicated 20 years of service to the Air National Guard. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Cool.
I've heard the word humble here several times today, and I'm humbled and honored to be sitting on this panel with these great gentlemen here. What Jason's put together is it's going to bring the fire service to a whole nother level. I think Jason's changed my philosophy on the fire ground, even though that I'm not out there anymore. The be safe attitude, I don't know, when he says that, I can't even say that anymore, be safe. So now in the New York City Fire Department, on our memorial, on our wall down there, it's in a war that never ends. So in a war that never ends, make yourself hard to kill. And with that, I'm going to tell you my story. An ordinary fire, as Dr. Askin was talking about this morning. Was it an ordinary fire? Was it a textbook fire? January 23rd, 2005, New York State was being hit by a nor'easter. We had wind blowing in excess of 45 miles an hour. Temperature was in the teens, and there was about a foot of snow on the ground. At about 0759 hours, a report of a fire came in the Bronx on 178th Street in a 4-story occupied multiple dwelling. Rescue 3 responded on a 1075 on a working fire. We reported into the chief. I was part of the inside team. I had the forcible entry position along with Captain Chris King and Firefighter Joey DiBonado, which was the hook man of Rescue 3. We were ordered to report to the top floor to assist the truck company search for life and fire. The fire was located on the number 3 floor of the building. Lines were stretched, and we made our way to the floor above. We started to do our search. 27 truck was in the apartment directly over the fire, so we took one of the adjoining apartments and started to do a search. The search proved negative. There was 3 apartments per floor, if I didn't say that, and I apologize. This is the first time talking off the cuff without slides behind me. I'm trying to do a condensed version, so I apologize. So we searched another apartment up there on the floor above. The search also proved negative. 27 truck was in the apartment directly over the fire. We made our way into that apartment to assist 27 truck. There was a moderate smoke condition on the floor above. At some point in time, there was a loss of water pressure or a problem with one of the engines. I don't know how many people have read the fatal fire report of Black Sunday. That's what the media has dubbed our fire, Black Sunday. It was the deadliest fire in the New York City Fire Department since 9/11. We lost 3 firefighters that day, 2 firefighters in the Bronx, and firefighter Rich Scalfani in Brooklyn that afternoon. So anyway, we made our way into the apartment, searching with 27, and they lost water. The line that was on the floor above with us was back down. We continued to operate on the floor above to search for a report of a missing person. Moderate smoke condition. I was taking hits off my mask, all my PPEs on. but I'm just taking hits off my mask. At some point in time, conditions started to deteriorate. I had a thermal imaging camera under direction of my captain. We were searching for fire in the walls and in the ceiling. I picked up a heat source in the wall in the kitchen under the direction of my captain. I took a Halligan, popped a small hole in the wall, and with a matter of seconds, fire started to vent out. And at that point, I would like this videotape to, or video audio tape to run for a second.
10-4-2. We have Mayday. A fire into the hallway on the floor above. You need a line upstairs. No water. Mayday. Latitude 7, Mayday. You gotta get a hole in the roof before the seal blows down on everybody. Division 7 to the Mayday message. Ken, who's the Mayday? The member from 27's Bronx, he's out of here. The mask has been lowered to him and there's a member with him. But we need to get a hole in the roof. Go up another, we'll come back in half an inch. Let's go in. Hold up on the windows. Hold up on the windows, we got people on the front fire escape. If it's 9-1-7, all units on the roof. Back out to the stairway. It's out the windows on the top floor. 1-7-4-8, how you make out the line? Cutters on the roof, you're gonna need to send the rope over the side. Roof team, send the rope over the side to the 4th side of the building. 1-7 to division. We need the line on the 2.5, cooking, and drop water. Okay, 6-7 to division. What, hello? Rescue, hooks to rescue, Mayday! Get ahead, Mayday, what's your location? Let's shoot up, get to the roof. Get the hell out of here, hurry up! We need radio silence, I need water in that 2.5-inch line, 48-inch water to the 2.5-inch line. Mayday, get the rope to the roof, Get a 35 in the rear, 35 to the rear. Rope on the roof, 35 to the rear. The guy wants the division. You get that, we need a rope on the roof. Top floor, we're losing the top floor, Patty. Division 7-10-4. Division 7-2, ladder 5-9, finish stroke, roof on the rope. We got guys out the rear window, okay? Mayday, 5-6, stand down, Phil. Mayday, fireman down in the rear. 2 firemen down in the rear. 2 firemen down in the rear. Let's go. We got 75. Put your pump in your Mayday, 2 firemen from the top floor in the rear. We need them. Put my brother in the... Show the mixer up. We got a whole company in the rear. They had it. Two ways now. We got 6 guys out. You got it. Roof down. Mayday, in the rear. Lead the international rear. You got it. Go! Let the rope down! Lower that guy in the rope all the way down! Hold up, Mike. Get on that! Yeah, Battalion 1-7 Division. Go ahead, 1-7. Have you got a good report from the roof? What's going on in the rear, Patty? Kevin, the whole company just shoots out the rear cases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who jumped in the rear? We need massive EMS here. Massive injuries. calling a bunch of buses, Kate. You turn it to 17. How are we making out with that line now? Hey, be advised, 48's just bringing their line up now. I'm going to try to go back upstairs. 10-4.
So the audio transmissions that you hear, this was a pilot program. There was a recorder and a battalion vehicle, and this is one of the first fires that there was recordings done at in a pilot program, and it happened to be a fatal fire. Now they're in every battalion vehicle. Am I correct in saying that now, Jason? Is every battalion vehicle? Yeah. It's, I guess it helps piece some of the puzzle together, but a lot of the puzzle's missing. Not all radio transmissions were picked up that day, but you can hear the controlled, chaotic state that was there. We all know when a Mayday is transmitted, you know, you're supposed to radio silence, the IC is supposed to acknowledge it, you're supposed to say a location. It didn't happen that day. I'm going to just back up for a second. So here we are in this ordinary fire, a fire that probably should have been out within a half hour, 45 minutes, and we were back in the kitchen drinking coffee. But that wasn't the case that day. So is there an ordinary fire? I mean, that's my sarcasm there. I was in the kitchen, again, with the captain, searching for fire. Remember, we already lost water pressure on the fire floor. They backed the line down from the floor above, so we have no protection of a hand line on the floor above. We have, the weather is a major factor that day. We have frozen hydrants. We have water pressure problems. And we also have SROs, single room occupancies. These 3 apartments that we had per floor were illegally subdivided into multiple apartments, padlocked. You know, so there's apartments inside of apartments. It's a maze in there. So now the fire, there's illegal partitions that have been placed in there, but not from floor to ceiling. On the fire floor and the floor above, they run about 10 to 12 inches shy of the ceiling level. So the engine company's moving in after they got another line in place on the fire floor, and they think they're hitting fire. Dougie Hantush, which was the chauffeur of Rescue 3, is in there. He's operating the thermal imaging camera, picking up a heat source at the ceiling level, but he's not getting anything at the floor level. The engine's moving in, they think they're hitting a fire, but they're not hitting a fire because there's walls there, and you just see fire venting from the top, but they think they're hitting it. Well, the fire's continuing to burn, and it's starting to burn up now. So we are on the floor above. I popped this hole in the wall, just a small hole in a bay. Fire starts to vent out. My captain gets on the radio, urgent message. I step from his side a couple feet, and I see 27 truck, maybe 12 feet down the hallway, operating in bedroom 2 down the hallway. I pick them up with silhouettes of the thermal imaging camera. I work my way towards those guys because our primary means of egress is behind me. I work my way there. I have a face-to-face with the firefighter. Didn't know the firefighter at the time. I said, brother, we need to back up. We got fire behind us. He says, we're trapped. I said, we're not trapped. Turn around. Follow me. I turn around like that. Fire floor to ceiling. From the minute the captain gives the urgent for the hand line, in a matter of seconds, there's fire floor to ceiling. We're trapped in this room. My partner, Firefighter DiBernardo, is trapped in bedroom 1 to my left, and I'm trapped in bedroom 2 with 3 guys from 27 truck, Lieutenant Myron, Firefighter Stolowski, Firefighter Cawley, who happens to be a probie. It's his first fire. He just got out of probie school, and myself. Firefighter John Ballou is trapped somewhere else on the floor above. There's speculation in the fatal fire report to exactly where he is. Don't buy into it, because I don't. But he went out the window somewhere up there. Captain King made his way to the stairwell, thank God. And Firefighter Pat McKenna, which was the OV man that day, we were riding heavy because of the storm and the state of emergency, was in the hallway when it lit up. He crawled into a closet, righted himself, and rolled down the stairwell. So now I'm trapped at a window. 27 truck is to the right at another window, and Firefighter DiBernardo is to my left. I make my way up onto a portable window air conditioning unit. 40 to 50 feet above the ground. When I say 40 to 50, if I land in the right spot, I'm at 40 feet. If I land another inch or two to the right, I fall another 10 feet to a below grade entrance. Fire is taking over this room. Fire is blowing out over my head. 3 guys from 27 truck, where I don't remember physically seeing them go out the window one by one. Basically, they're jumping. It's stay there and burn to death, or hope for the best and go out that window. It's not a short time after I'm sitting there and I'm listening to Dr. Askin again this morning and saying I'm not going to die here. That was me. And I'm sure everybody else was saying, I'm not going to die here today. I said, I got my wife and my boys at home. And I'm on this window air conditioning unit, and Joey's to my left. And I said, hey, Joey, I got a rope, but I got nowhere to tie it off to. I bought a rope 6 months to the day. 6 months to the day to using it, I bought this rope. A personal rope. Doesn't matter who made it. I got it in my pocket. It's not rigged in any orthodox fashion. We had ropes in the New York City Fire Department up until December 1999. We all had personal ropes and personal harnesses. They reached their shelf life. The fire commissioner at the time, Tom Von Essen, decided to take them away from us because he said there wasn't any proven statistics of us using them. We didn't use them enough. They were too heavy. The guys said they were too heavy, so we're going to take them away. Basically, it's all a bunch of BS. They took them away. It was a cost-saving measure. It was $896,000 when they took the ropes away from us. So anyway, I worked in a rescue company. I worked with some of the greatest firefighters in the country, if not in the world. Had some great training. A couple of the guys are sitting in here today, trained every which way to go out a window. I don't have a substantial object. I have one, but I can't get to it because the fire's right there now. Hindsight's 20/20. It was there, but now it's gone. I can't get back in the window. I said, Joey, I got a rope, but I got nowhere to tie it off. Joey says, throw me the rope. I'll anchor you. We have a quick conversation. I argue with him. I go, no, I'll anchor you. He goes, you got a wife and kids. You go first. I take the rope, throw him one end of the rope. I take the other end. He wraps it around his arm, stands on it. I body belay fashion, wrap the rope around me, grab back onto it. I roll out the window. I can't tell you what happens next. I mean, supposedly, there was a civilian that seen me pendulum on the backside of the building. All right, so for the non-firefighters that are in here, the front would be exposure 1. To the left would be exposure 2. The rear would be 3, and to the right 4. So I swing out 2 windows in on the 3 side of the building. I swing out to the 2-3 side of the building, come back in. Speculation, I hit the wall. I get the wind knocked out of me. My hands open up. Down to the ground I go. I fall below Joey D's window, Joey DiBernardo's window, which is above the below grade entrance. So I'm an inch from falling another 10 feet. The rope probably saved 10 to 15 feet off my fall. Firefighter DiBernardo takes the same rope, clips it onto a child guard gate. It's not a substantial object, but he's got to go. He has no other choice. Wraps it around himself. He said he gets down 10, 15 feet. There's no more rope there. Down to the ground he goes. He falls to the below grade entrance. He falls an additional 10 feet. Unfortunately, that morning, there's no easy way to say it. Firefighter Ballou was killed. Lieutenant Myron was killed. And 4 of us were in a fight for our lives. Firefighter Stolowski, Firefighter Cawley, Firefighter DiBernardo, and myself. Now, I'll just tell you my injuries real quick. I mean, we all had a lot of similar injuries. Was one guy worse than the other? Yes, there were. There was paramedics back there. We were lucky. Former paramedics from Squad 41 that were back there tending to us. The brothers did a tremendous, tremendous job back there. I broke my back, and L2 to L5. I shattered my pelvis in 3 places. I broke 13 ribs. I fractured my cranium in 2 places. I had abdominal compartment syndrome. Basically, all my internal organs started to swell. They had to cut my stomach from my sternum to my belly button, take my organs, rest them outside my body. I had a flail chest. But my most severe injury when I shattered my pelvis. I severed my femoral arteries in multiple places. I bled out 72 units of blood before all the bleeding was stopped. Tremendous, tremendous amount of blood. I should have been dead before I even got out of the alleyway, but the guys did a tremendous, tremendous job back there. I want to talk about the lieutenant that stood back there and watched us go out the window, because the guys weren't standing still when this was going on. The Maydays were transmitted. There was a two-sided rescue approach that was going on. They were trying to get to us. There was a roof rope evolution set up on the roof. They were coming over to get us. You hear them calling for a 35 in the rear, a 35-foot ladder. It's not going to reach us, but the guys they're still making a push for the fire. They're trying to come over the side, but it was time to go. But Lieutenant White from 56 truck is standing there, and he's calling for a ladder. He's calling for a rope. And I said to him, I hear these audio transmissions. We hear the chaos. It's like, one fireman down in the rear, two firemen. You hear the explicit language. I said to Lieutenant White, I don't know him well. I said I wouldn't have wanted to been you that day, standing there watching 6 guys go out the window helplessly, because I would rather get back in that window and have to go the way that I went. Again, I don't blame anybody for the way it happened. It wasn't the firefighters that were there that day. There was a lot of odds stacked against us. One being we should have all had ropes, because if we all had ropes, it was a bunt. We would have found a substantial object. They would have all been pre-rigged, hands-free devices out the window. We would have went. The SRO conditions. The landlord basically was making his wallet fat. It was a slumlord. The weather was another factor. But you know what? It happened. I guess looking back on it, lessons learned. Again, I would do it with the same firefighters today, all over again. Captain King has said to me, he blames himself a lot for me. And I talk to Captain King every couple months. I pick up the phone, call him. He's since retired from the job, not because of the fire, but because of injuries. And it was time to go. But he said he blames himself for me leaving his side. I said, you know what? I was a rescue firefighter. I chose to leave his side to go get 27 truck to get them to come to an area of refuge, to get out of there. I placed myself there to get them, and it wasn't to anything that anybody else would have done in this room. Everybody would have went to get another brother. That's what we do, let's go. But I guess, looking back on it, what we did, crew integrity is a big part of it. We have to have better crew integrity, better management. We got to be, we have our bosses there telling us what to do. We can't put them in that situation. The Maydays, the controlled chaos that was in there, the Maydays after they were transmitted, we stepped all over one another, and half of them are not even on there. It was crazy. We got to slow down. Let that Mayday be acknowledged. Let that two-sided rescue approach go. And then if there's another one, let it happen. But we need to let that happen. We need to, if we're on the floor above or on the fire floor, I think that we need to, it's a risk staying there without the protection of a hand line. It's something we do. Would I do it again today? Probably. There was a person that showed after we jumped out the window. The average Joe hasn't seen this video. The district attorney's office had this video. There was a person in a front fire apartment, not in the apartment that we were in, that came out the window. I don't know where they were up there, but they were there. They came out the window after we already jumped. So I think the hose line placements, super important that we have to have up there. And the proper equipment. Again, going back to the personal safety systems. Whether you're a soldier, a Marine, you want or a firefighter or a police officer, you want the best equipment that's out there. So I think it's up to us to convey that message, or the chief officers out there to convey that to City Hall. Hey, we need the best equipment. We can't wait for a guy to be in a situation. I look at the PSS, the personal safety system now, as a bulletproof vest. A cop doesn't want to have to use it, but it's there. It's that fail-safe if he gets shot in the chest. Another analogy I use, I'm an Air Force guy. I was a crash dog. A fighter pilot, he sits on top of a multi-million-dollar aircraft, not wanting to have to blow out of there, but he has an ejection system that he can blow out of that aircraft if the need arises. And that PSS is there. Now, just real quickly, to wrap it up, because I know I'm getting past my 20 minutes, is I was in a fight for my life. I never thought I was going to walk again. Determination to get up and go again came from my family. You know, my young boys, they drove me real hard to get up and go. They were 5 and 7 at the time. You know, they're big boys now. They're, you know, one's going to be 16 soon, and the other one's, you know, 12. And I think I got that right.
It's on tape, too.
Yeah. Well, I got their ages right. I'm just thinking, you know, time-wise. It's 8 years. It'll be 8 years in January. Unfortunately, November 22nd, I know I'm rattling for a second, but November 22nd of next month, Firefighter DiBernardo succumbed to his injuries. He was posthumous. Well, I'm sorry, he was promoted to lieutenant prior to his retirement. He was on the list, and he was promoted to lieutenant, but his injuries were career-ending, as mine were. And November 22nd of last year, Firefighter, or Lieutenant DiBernardo, succumbed to his injuries. He was in a tremendous amount of pain, and now we've lost 3 firefighters in the Black Sunday fire. It's a never-ending ordeal that, you know, we shouldn't have been placed in there if we were, you know, if the SROs weren't there, proper equipment, you know, proper line placement. But you know, I'm not bitter over this. I've learned, you know. I was talking to a couple of people that are here in the audience, a couple of my coworkers. I was angry for a while. I was a pissed off individual. You know, it's 8 years, and I was angry at the world. And I learned how to let go of that anger. First, it was there, and I said, you know what? I'm going to learn to smell the roses every day. But you know what? It was right back there, and I was nasty. I was real nasty. And you know what? I finally got in, and I started doing mental health. And up until today, Thursday morning, 8:45, I'm there pretty much religiously, you know, unless something comes up. Talking, you know, it's talking about what I went through, you know, the PTSD, the survival's guilt, you know, what we could have done different, you know. But it's made me a better person, and it's taught me how to be an advocate and be pro instead of negative, to help you guys be safe out there. And I've volunteered myself now with the New York Blood Center, speaking on the importance of giving blood. Just trying to make proactive stuff come out of this, because there was a lot of negative, and now, you know, I'm trying to build on a positive. I know I rattled a little bit, and I apologize. It's just trying to convey this in 20 minutes. I've done it in 2.5 hours, you know, explaining the whole fire. But you know what? Again, in a war that never ends, you know, make yourself hard to kill. Thank you. Thank you.